Okay, here is my new SPLATRBALL build. So, printed several different pieces here, repurposing some other pieces, and then I'm going to just mainly print the things that are easily removable. They make this really hard to take apart, and since I'm not changing anything inside, I'd rather leave it instead of taking it apart. So like we're gonna keep some orange. Might as well keep the battery orange and keep these orange. And then there will be a small part of the tip that you'll be able to see that is orange. So I'm not 100% sure what color I will go with yet, but something that complements nicely, maybe just another dark gray. It won't be black, it won't be blue, because then everything looks like Florida Gators, which nothing wrong with that, but I've done that plenty of times. So probably a dark gray or a different gray color of some sort. Anyway, let's talk about what I'm going to do here. So actually, this I'll leave since I've got, I might try to do something different with this piece, but I'll go ahead and paint these out, all these other orange pieces. So here is a new silencer, fake silencer that I found that I can print that's made for SPLATRBALL. You don't need to remove this tip because they glue this sucker on there so good. And this even has plastic pieces inside that fit in between those grooves. So you can push it on. I'm not going to push it on tight. It pushes all the way up to here. So you'd still see a little bit of orange up here. But if you push it on hard, it's hard to take off. So I'm not going to do that right now. But so that's going to be a little different look than I've had before. So I printed a battery door because I'm going to be putting a hole through it anyway. So I thought that would be nice. And also, this has this little spot here, which I thought was going to be a rail. Instead, it was made to accommodate a specific grip that I didn't like. So instead, I just printed the very top piece of that grip that slides in there. And so this will slide in there, and then now I'll have a rail. Because what's going to happen is this big battery box here, and yes, it is large, but it'll accommodate any battery you're thinking of, will slide on here. This will go like right here, and then you can put a cool grip on the bottom of this. So actually, I like this design. It works basically like that. I did it on my G36 as well, which is obviously a very similar gun. So that'll work like that there. And then up top, wanted to put something here. And again, they put these big pieces here. And if I cut those off and try to sand them, again, then you got to look at painting the whole thing. So I didn't want to do that. I'll just paint those pieces. And I was printing a piece here that was going to have a rail on it. But when you have a 3D printer, you'll find out that things don't always work right. And I ran into the first time where a spool of my filament had a tangle in it. So it got to this point, and then it just was ruined basically. So, or at least this print was. So this piece will go clip over here. And what I'm going to do instead of printing a whole new piece, because I have so many rails, and because what I really wanted here was how this can fit right over the top like this, is I'm going to go ahead and mount this rail on here. And I think I'll probably cut it off flush with the rail. So because again, otherwise to try to sand this down smooth, I think this will be easier. I think it'll look better. And then that'll have, this handle on top. So I'm still not sure which direction I'm going to want the handle to go in. I've seen it both directions, so I'm not sure. I'm more accustomed to this direction, but then I've seen it like this. In fact, the posting I got this STL from for this print showed it like this. So not sure. And then of course you can put a scope on top here. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the SPLATRBALL. Really just time to start painting. First I got to decide what color, and then I'll show you the final product and do some shooting with it. All right, here we are. We got the SPLATRBALL, the newest build all put together. Let's kind of show you everything now in one. So you can see much different than the other one I did. I did find this, silencer barrel here that was actually made for this SPLATRBALL gun, so it fits over that orange piece. You do still see a little bit of the orange, but it actually fits over it, because cutting that off is a pain in the butt. That is like glued on there hardcore. Otherwise, just went with black on everything else. I like this little grip here, so put this grip on the bottom of my battery box. Got the little battery cord coming down in here so that I can have an 11.1 volt battery in there. Remember, SPLATRBALL says don't do that, so do so at your own risk. Some people will tell you that it will ruin your blaster. Some people will tell you that it won't. So that's up to you guys. And then we got this up here. So we got the rail or the handle. Like I said, I didn't screw it down, so I probably won't use it as a handle. Just because, again, like I said, I'm not sure how far deep I could go in there with screws. And if you're just putting little screws in, it wouldn't work as a handle anyway. So it'll be more for putting some sort of scope up there, most likely. And then this is the standard stock on there. But like I said, I also have the option to put this one on, and it uses that same connection that's right there already, or this one, same thing. So kind of some cool different options for customizing it. So I like how it turned out. I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, if I painted this out black and this little tiny piece would look a little nicer, but like I said, I was trying to make this happen without taking it apart. I have enough that I take apart, and it just adds a lot of time. And just for the two pieces, I didn't think I was going to do it. So anyway, I'll do another video where I'm shooting this. We'll get to see it in action, and I think it's definitely a pretty cool one. And again, all these 3D printed parts are free online from cults3d.com or thingiverse.com. If you go to Thingiverse and just search SPLATRBALL, you should be able to find this piece here that is the battery door, and then you should be able to find that as well, that barrel. That's about it. The other pieces, you know, like the battery boxes, you can find by searching for that. This is obviously just a grip. This piece too, there's a rail, a special rail piece that actually would go all the way from here to here, but I ran into a problem when that printed. I was able to salvage this piece, and that accomplishes what I wanted to do instead. So we will check out this guy in action on the next video. All right, this is my newest SPLATRBALL build out. I showed you it kind of beforehand. Now I've got everything painted out. Really, it's just kind of time to assemble it, which is, you know, relatively easy at this point since I didn't take this apart, which makes it kind of nice. So I changed my mind. I went with the black just because anytime I'm making rail accessories or accessories that can be used on other blasters, if you go with a nice, you know, generic color like black or gray, something neutral, then you can use it on those other blasters. So to me, that made sense. I just didn't have something, I didn't want to do blue, and I didn't have any like dark grays, so I went with the black instead. And so you can see what we got going on here. The only orange that you're going to see will be the mag release button, and then your little safety switch, single fire, auto fire switch. Got your battery door here with the rail on it. That's going to go right here. I do need to drill, I'm going to drill a hole right here so that the cable can come out, and then that way that's how you'll connect to your battery box. So this is a very large battery box, but that way it'll accommodate pretty much any battery. So if I use it on other blasters too, it works out nicely. I printed this. It was actually ended up being too tall for my printer, so I had to cut, you know, basically print it in two pieces anyway. So I just printed two of the same piece because that way I have access doors on each end. And again, when it comes to other blasters, then that gives you more versatility as to where you're going to mount this, if you're going to mount this, if you're going to use it. But it actually works quite well where it can slide all the way kind of back right into here, and it actually almost kind of clicks in between this gap right here, which is kind of nice. That'll definitely help hold it in place better too. And then we'll go with this grip on there, right? So you have that grip right there out front. Painted out the magazine black. You just want to leave this area orange, any magazine where it's going to be inside, because otherwise the paint will rub. It doesn't fit right. The barrel. So a lot of these things I printed in black, but then I still paint them so that they match. These are the top pieces here, so they'll be in black. Again, this piece will go right on here like this. And I think I will actually just go ahead and glue it on instead of screwing it. Obviously, if I take this piece off, we can put some screws in. But I think I'll just go ahead, because the way it fits on there, it'll be just fine if it's glued. So that's my plan. And of course, I put this on here more to use it for like a scope of some sort. Whereas if I was truly going to use it as a handle, then yeah, I should definitely screw it in. But since I haven't opened one of these up and I don't really know what's below here, yeah, if I use shallow screws, it wouldn't be an issue, but I think we'll just go ahead with glue on that one. A couple different stock options. So here's your standard one that comes with the splatter ball. This was from some Nerf gun that was broken, and I just kept it around in thoughts that maybe I would eventually use it for something. So it was actually pretty easy to modify this so that this other piece. So this was actually the piece that came with my blue splatter ball gun that was made just to click on the back, and all you could really do was put a sling into it. So I did that with one of them, and then the other piece that came with the orange one here went ahead and used this piece. So just kind of a couple different cool options, and of course they'll work on the blue splatter ball gun too. All right, so now all I really need to do is start putting it together. I got to drill one hole here and then put it all together, and of course I'll show you the finished product.